In the show for this week, we'll talk about the big news, BlackBerry. If you are a BlackBerry user, then you will want to know what's going to happen to the company's handsets going forward. Also, we will touch on the privacy issue with Apple Messages, and we'll wrap up the show with the latest on artificial intelligence. Welcome to Whirlwind Radio. Thanks for taking the time to join us today. I'm your host, Marcelo Sugdeo. We are now coming to the end of an era. BlackBerry has made the decision to stop designing and making smartphones. No more BlackBerry passports and Privs. We have come to the end of the BlackBerry handsets as we know it. This move by BlackBerry was inevitable, but yet it caught most of us, certainly users of BlackBerry, by surprise. I personally am disappointed that the iconic smartphone maker has decided to put a stop to designing and even making smartphones. I currently have the BlackBerry Passport, a phone that I enjoy using. The battery life is great, and then there's the security aspect, which is phenomenal. But now we are seeing the end of the handsets for BlackBerry, and also the potential end of updates for the BB10 operating system. So now, after 14 years in the smartphone business, BlackBerry has made the announcement to stop the focus on hardware and move to the more profitable part of their business, which is software. But what really happened to BlackBerry was that it underestimated the iPhone and the growing Android market. Instead of progressing and adapting to changes, it took a while to even consider going in that direction. And the result? The failed BlackBerry operating system. Don't get me wrong, as I've said, I'm a big fan of BlackBerry. But because of the absence of change to meet the market demands and moving to be more innovative, BlackBerry, what they did was they took a step back and decided to take a long nap. So today, what BlackBerry has to offer is not good enough for what the market is offering, falling short of the iPhone or even the high-end lineup from Samsung. The company lost most of its market share to Apple and Samsung due to the lack to innovate and also to expand its app store. Since the past decade, BlackBerry has been playing the catch-up game. Yet, even with this mass exodus to the iOS and Android platforms, there are still some die-hard fans, BlackBerry fans that is. What does the future hold for those who are still wishing to have new BlackBerry devices? Well, the BlackBerry CEO, John Chen, said that with their new strategy, they are now focusing on software development, including security and applications, with a plan to end all internal hardware development and then to outsource that to its partners. And this, according to Chen, will reduce capital requirements and also enhance return on invested capital. Now, we've seen this already in play with the DTEK 50. That device carries the BlackBerry name, but it was built by TCL. So going forward, the BlackBerry logo will be seen on devices, but that will be done by their partners and not by BlackBerry itself. So the quality that we've come to expect from BlackBerry will no longer be there. Now, some are even speculating that with BlackBerry shifting its focus to its software business, this can bring the company back from the brink of destruction to becoming a highly profitable company again. So what they mean by this, with the new revenue base, BlackBerry will get back into its hardware business with newer, better smartphones, and also a very secured operating system that will draw in customers. Another plus for a potential comeback is the risk involved in using the Android and iOS platforms. With such an avalanche of data breaches and vulnerabilities, a more secured operating system with better looking, greater specs smartphones may take the world by storm. Now, whatever the case may be, we don't know how this is going to play out. We've come to the end of an era, the end of BlackBerry smartphones as we've come to love and use. Now, moving on to our second story for today, not because I've just bashed the iOS and Android, but there is something that made the news that you need to know about, especially if you are an Apple user. Apple's Messages has a great interface and offers many functions that users like, but the app may not be the best choice for texters if they want their chats to be discreet and private. Now, those contacts that you've reached via Messages are logged by Apple, which then allows the company and law enforcement to access who you have texted in the past, according to a report from The Intercept. The report went on to detail what kind of information can be handed over to law enforcement. It can't give the exact text messages, so that's important. It won't give the exact text messages, but it provides the phone numbers of those that a user attempted to contact, as well as the time and date of the message, and potentially the location via an IP address. This is contrary to a 2013 Apple claim that, quote unquote, we do not store data related to customers' location. Now, the reason for logging this information is that the Apple's servers need to check to see if a text message sent through Messages is being sent to another Messages user, so that it can enable all the special features of the messaging service. And we've seen this with the two colors that Messages use, the green and blue. So for it to recognize if this is coming from another Apple device, it has to log the information into its servers. Now, Apple says that these logs are deleted after 30 days. Though any repeated interaction with new members in your contacts list may refresh the saved information. Now, this disclosure about the logs kept by Apple is worth taking note of, especially since the big noise that was made over privacy in the last year or so regarding the San Bernardino shooting. Apple's stance of not adhering to the court order to release information on Farouk's iPhone has given the company the reputation of not just being a maker of expensive devices, but a determined privacy advocate. But with taking such a public stance, we need companies, and Apple included, that we are sharing our privacy with to be more open as to what information is being logged and what can be given over to law enforcement agencies. As customers, that is our right. And now for our final story for today. Artificial intelligence is quickly taking shape. Microsoft recently announced a new AI partnership with IBM, Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Now, these are the big tech giants. Microsoft also announced that it is creating a new AI business unit, the Microsoft AI Research Group, which will have about 5,000 computer scientists, engineers, and others who will be working on all aspects of AI and how it will be applied to the company and how to cover agents, apps, services, and infrastructure. Microsoft has already made some interesting inroads and put its name on the map when it comes to the mass market applications of AI, with apps like its Cortana personal assistant. Other than personal assistants like Siri and Alexa as well, most of the AI's technology are still in the lab phase. That means we will be seeing a lot more of AI coming our way. For Microsoft, with this new group, it will focus on 4 areas. So these are the 4 areas that they have highlighted. First is agents. So what this means, they'll be harnessing AI to fundamentally change human and computer interaction through agents, such as the Microsoft's digital personal assistant, Cortana. The next aspect that they will focus on is applications. And what they are planning to do is to infuse every application from the photo app on somebody's phone to Skype and to Office 365. All of this working together with intelligence. Thirdly, they will be looking at services. And what they're planning to do is to make these same intelligent capabilities that are infused in Microsoft's apps, like cognitive capabilities such as vision and speech, and machine analytics. They are going to make all of this available to every application developer in the world. And that, of course, will open up AI and make it a much bigger technology that we're seeing today. And lastly, infrastructure. So they're planning to build the world's most powerful AI supercomputer with Azure and to make it available to anyone to enable people and organizations to harness its power. From the objectives outlined by Microsoft, we can see that the tech giant is very serious about AI. And in the words of Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, he said, "We are infusing AI into everything we deliver across our computing platforms and experiences." Now, that's the future we are looking at. Thanks for taking the time to listen to the program today. From the team at Whirlwind Radio, this is Marcelo Sugdeo saying stay safe in the technology whirlwind.